So, hi guys. Today we'll see the next virus of our human herpes viridae family, that is cytomegalovirus. Okay. Before that, we'll have MCQs on my previous videos. That is, first one is which of the following tumor is not caused by Epstein-Barr virus, either post-transplant lymphoma or Hodgkin's disease or Burkitt's lymphoma or Kaposi sarcoma. The next one is a patient with sore throat has a positive Paul Bunyan test. The causative organism is either EBV or HSV or CMV or VZV. Okay. The third one is Epstein-Barr virus causes autoimmunity by either molecular mimicry or inducing inappropriate expression of class 2 MHC or release of sequestered antigen or polyclonal B cell activation. The next one is which of the following herpes virus undergoes latency in B cells, either HSV or VZV or CMV or EBV. Okay, the EBV belongs to which subfamily or of herpes viridae? That is either alpha or beta or gamma or delta. Okay, and this is a case. Okay, a 20-year-old male with a history of fever, enlarged lymph nodes, and sore throat, suspected to have infectious mononucleosis, and was ordered a Paul Bunyan test. What is the principle of this test? Either heterophile agglutination test, or neutralization test, or complement fixation test, or agglutination reaction. Now the last MCQ is which test is done for confirmation of infectious mononucleosis? Either Paul Bunyan test or differential agglutination test or monospot test or simple slide agglutination test. These answers you can comment in the comment section. Now we'll move on to the virus, okay, cytomegalovirus. An introduction, the cytomegalovirus, it is official name is HHV type 5 and it belongs to the beta herpes viridae subfamily. And this virus is formally known as salivary gland viruses, and the cytomegalovirus are the largest virus of the herpes family. Okay, this cytomegalovirus is characterized by enlargement of infected cell and prominent intranuclear inclusion, that is owl's eye appearance. Okay, and this cytomegalovirus is the most common organism causing intrauterine infection, and this cytomegalovirus is the most common pathogen complicating organ transplantation. Okay, now, coming to the pathogenesis, transmission is through sexual route, transplacental, blood transfusion, organ transplant. Okay, and the incubation period is similar to that of the Epstein-Barr virus, that is 4 to 8 weeks. Okay, and this virus may be systemic. Okay, this virus can be isolated from lungs, liver, kidney, monocytes, T and B lymphocytes, etc. stuffs. And this cytomegalovirus can manifest as infectious mononucleosis like syndrome. Okay, and it causes lifelong latent infections. Okay, and they shed intermittently from the pharynx and in the urine after primary infection. Okay, cell mediated immunity is depressed with the primary infection and they may contribute to the persistence of viral infection. This pathogenesis is similar, mostly similar to the Epstein-Barr virus pathogenesis. Okay, that is, they will cause primary infection, they will undergo latency for a long time. After that, they may shed in the pharynx and in the urine. This was due to, especially due to cell mediated immunity. There also we saw the cell mediated immunity, if it got depressed, your B cells will proliferate and may lead to lymphoma in Epstein-Barr virus. Whereas here the cell mediated immunity is depressed with the primary infection and they may be the cause for the persistence of the viral infection. This is the same concept. Okay, now coming to the clinical features in normal host, okay, the primary cytomegalovirus infection in adults and in children are usually asymptomatic. But occasionally there may be spontaneous infectious mononucleosis like syndrome. Okay, and this infectious mononucleosis like syndrome only called as heterophile negative mononucleosis, that is non-EBV mononucleosis, because this is due to CMV. Okay, and this mononucleosis is most common. Okay, more common after transfusion of CMV infected bloods. So you call it as post-transfusion mononucleosis. And the most common sign of this mononucleosis like syndrome caused by CMV is that of subclinical hepatitis, that is mild hepatitis, as well as hepatosplenomegaly in less than 7-year-old children. Okay. Now, if you see, these are the infectious mononucleosis like syndrome symptoms, fever, myalgia, atypical lymphocytes, and hepatosplenomegaly, that is enlarged spleen and liver. Okay. Now, this is the difference between infectious mononucleosis caused by Epstein-Barr virus and cytomegalovirus. Okay, so how to differentiate the mononucleosis like illness, okay, or mononucleosis like syndrome if they undergo monospot test. What is this monospot test? This is a simple slide agglutination test. Okay, in this test detects positive na, then it is Epstein-Barr virus. Okay, if it is negative na, then we look upon the lymphocytosis. If there is lymphocytosis, we can see for Epstein-Barr virus immunoglobulin M. Okay, so EBV IgM we have to look. If there is no lymphocytosis, there is risk factor for HIV P24 antigen, HIV viral RNA, or HIV DNA. So Epstein-Barr virus in IgM, if it is positive அப்படின்னா Epstein-Barr virus mononucleosis. If it is negative அப்படின்னா we have to look for cytomegalovirus IgM. This cytomegalovirus IgM positive na, then we can say for cytomegalovirus mononucleosis. If it is negative, then it is toxoplasmosis, hepatitis A, B, C, or human herpes virus 6. Clear? Now we will see the clinical features in the immunocompromised host due to this CMV infection. So both morbidity and mortality rates are increased due to the primary cytomegalovirus infection as well as due to recurrent cytomegalovirus infection. This cytomegalovirus infection causes fatal infections in transplant recipients, cancer patients on chemotherapy, especially in HIV infected patients, they can lead to fatal. And cytomegalovirus is an important pathogen in AIDS because in AIDS already they have a very weakened immune response, and this weakened immune response is further damaged by the non-specific CMI inhibiting effect of cytomegalovirus. Okay, that is one of the glycoproteins present on the cytomegalovirus acts as a receptor for the FC portion of the immunoglobulin molecule. So this leads to masking of the virus by attachment of irrelevant immunoglobulin molecules, thus preventing access to specific anti-CMV antibody. Okay, so this is related to immunocompromised host with CMV infection. Now coming to the CMV infections, that is congenital and perinatal. Okay, so congenital infections leads to death of the fetus in utero. Okay, so congenital inclusions of newborns are characterized by involvement of central nervous system as well as reticuloendothelial system. As you see in this picture, the mortality is about 20%. Okay, so mortality 20%, out of which survivors are also there. These survivors will have CNS defects within 2 years. Those defects are nothing but ocular abnormalities, severe hearing loss, as well as mental retardation. These are all common. Out of which, about 10% of the infants who are suffering from subclinical congenital CMV infections develop deafness. Clear? Now, many women who are already exposed to the CMV infection, they may be reactivated and they again start to excrete in the cervix during pregnancy. So என்ன ஆகும் டெலிவரி டயத்துல birth canal infected ஆன birth canal இருக்கும்போது infants will also get infected even though they acquire transplacentally high titers of maternal antibodies. So என்னதான் high titers of maternal antibodies acquire பண்ணாலும் through the infected birth canal infants get infected. So these infants who get infected with the CMV infections, they shed the virus within 8 to 12 weeks. அதாவது 2 ல இருந்து 3 மாசத்துக்குள்ள they will excrete the virus. Okay, so they excrete the virus even after for several years, but they remain healthy. Okay, so they remain healthy also. And this is the CMV infection sources, that is breast milk, urine, saliva, semen, cervical secretions, etc. They cause uterine infection, placental infection may be primary as well as recurrent. Both can transmit to the fetus, as well as they may be symptomatic or asymptomatic, out of which asymptomatic is most common, 90 to 95%, whereas symptomatic they cause intrauterine growth restriction. What is this intrauterine growth restriction அப்படின்னா, ஆவரேஜா ஜெஸ்டேஷனல் ஏஜ்ல எவ்வளோ வெயிட் இருக்கணுமோ பர்த் வெயிட் அதை விட 10% கம்மியா இருக்கும். So that only called as intrauterine growth restriction, and they can also cause retinitis, microcephaly, jaundice, hepatosplenomegaly, etc. So this may lead to permanent damage, as I said, mental retardation, deafness, blindness, etc. And death is mortality is 20%. Asymptomatic may also again lead to late sequelae, that is deafness, learning deficiencies, etc. Okay. So as I said, these are the clinical features: intrauterine growth retardation, jaundice, hepatosplenomegaly, thrombocytopenia, microcephaly, and retinitis. Okay, acquired infections are very common and inapparent. The virus sheds in the saliva as well as urine, okay, of the infected individuals. And the cytomegalovirus may be a cause of isolated pneumonia or hepatitis in less than 6 months of age children. Okay. Now coming to the lab diagnosis, the specimens can be isolated from urine, saliva, semen, and cervical secretions. Isolation, the diagnosis can be done by recovering the virus from saliva, urine, or other body fluids by inoculating human fibroblast culture. See, this is the human fibroblast culture which we inoculate, and the shell whale culture is used for early growth detection within 1 to 2 days. Okay, so this is the procedure of shell whale culture. Okay, first they are doing inoculation, then centrifuge to advance inoculation, then incubation, and then fluorescence examination. By direct fluorescent examination, the shell whale culture detects the early cytomegalovirus antigens, okay, in the infected cell lines. Okay, so shell whale culture is used for early growth detection. Now coming to detection of inclusion bodies, it is a very less reliable technique. Okay, here the cytomegaloblastic cells are seen. Okay, in the centrifuged deposits of urine or saliva, in which inclusion bodies are seen. The inclusion bodies will appear as owl-eye appearance, as you see in this picture. This picture clearly demonstrates the owl-eye appearance. Okay. Now coming to the serology, in serology the antibodies have been demonstrated. The demonstration of antibody is very useful in the diagnosis of primary infection. This detection of antibodies can be done through complement fixation test, immunofluorescence, ELISA, etc. And the molecular method is PCR. So serology, IgM antibody detection is very useful in the diagnosis of congenital infections especially. And coming to PCR, PCR assays is the most sensitive method to detect the cytomegalovirus in blood, and these assays will detect the quantitative viral load data, okay, through which we can predict the CMV infection in the immunocompromised host. Okay. Now coming to prevention, it is indicated only in high-risk cases such as organ transplants, premature infants, and immunocompromised hosts. The prevention procedures can be screening of blood and organ donors, one thing, and the next is administration of cytomegalovirus immunoglobulins, and acyclovir is also used for prophylaxis. Treatment, ganciclovir or valganciclovir is a drug of choice, and foscarnet is recommended for cytomegalovirus retinitis. No vaccine is available, though experimentally live attenuated vaccine and a CMV polypeptide vaccine has been found to be immunogenic, but it is not effective in immunocompromised patients from CMV infection. Okay, this is a case study. A 25-year-old man diagnosed with HIV and AIDS presented with the complaint of diminishing vision, which has been slowly progressive for the previous 3 months. His CD4 counts at the time of presentation were less than 100 cells per cubic millimeter. On fundus examination, retinal infiltrates, which were fluffy in nature, were found, along with the presence of multiple hemorrhages. Serological tests were positive for CMV IG antibody and PCR on blood was positive for CMV DNA. The patient was diagnosed with CMV retinitis and treatment with ganciclovir was started. Further investigation revealed that the patient had not been taking his anti-HIV treatment regularly. So he was advised to do so again. Subsequently, there was no further deterioration in the symptoms. So this is a case study of cytomegalovirus infection. And the questions covered in this video are the pathogenesis and lab diagnosis of CMV infection and congenital CMV infection. Thank you and bye. And we'll see the next HHV6, HHV7, and HHV8 infections in my next video. Bye and take care.